Good morning, everyone. I have my strap. I'm getting ready to go. I was looking at this cat thinking I might have a cat attacking my strap today as I do it, but we'll see if she's a kitten or a cat. Thinking today we'd start off with the little strap work. We'd go to the floor, round the spine a little bit like we did last week, and then we'd jump in and go through the flow and see how that feels with that upper body support and mobility in the spine. So, yep, here it goes. And feet are going to be parallel. I'm going to make my strap a little shorter, and then that will maybe abate the kitten toyness of it. And then hands a little wider than shoulder distance. And we're going to pull out. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and release. And pulling out. Exhale. And pull and release. And nice wide elbows. Notice how your neck feels as you do it. The goal would be to get your upper back to work and your neck to let go. So finding the balance of that, holding this in place, and then up just below shoulder height, back down. Inhale, reaching up, and exhale, lower. And same thing here. I feel my upper back supporting me. My chest is going to work, but it doesn't feel gripping. It doesn't feel like it's gripping. Just a little easy work, easy neck. Connection through the upper abdominals. One more time up and hold that and release the tension. And then you pull out. Inhale and exhale and pulling out. Release and full breath in. And you think of the breath going down through the lower ribs and drawing together with your exhale. Two more. One more time, pull out and hold it. And then let's bend your knees. Let's get your one heel up as you go overhead and lower, just to get the lower body moving as well. Shoulders glide up. And exhale. Imagine the sides of the rib cage stretching and then setting the shoulders back down. All the way from your side ribs through your pinky finger or pinky knuckle. One more time up and leave the strap there. Now we're going to go right into shoulders up and together and then release. So shoulders float up a little, they pull together in the back and they come apart and forward. And the chest, the ribs stay where they are. The hands keep a little tension on the strap. Full inhale, exhale. See if you can feel how the chest has more space to breathe in. Two more. Last one, up and back, and then all the way down, bending your knees. Now we're going to do this thirds movement. 1, 2, 3, back down. So a third of the way, all the way back. Inhale. Big exhale down. Two more. And last one. And back down. All right, that's all we're going to do with the arms, just to kind of wake them up. Find your way down to the mat. I'm going to take a roll down today for myself so that I can really get my hands on the floor and then come down to hands and knees. So I want to have hands under my shoulders and knees under my hips. Nice open palm on the floor, which is different than what we just did, grabbing the strap. We're going to let the palm really open the other way. But then in the upper back, feeling like you were pulling on the strap a little. So really supported arms. Now we're going to start with that articulation of the spine. So I'm in neutral from head to tail. I'm going to think of my tailbone starting first. It's going to move my pelvis, kind of tucking my tail under. I'm going to feel how that ripples into my lower back, into my lower ribs, into my upper back, into my neck, and into my head, and I end up round. I'm going to try that same thing going the other way. From my tail, just my pelvis moves, and then my lower back, mid, upper, neck, head. So seeing what you can articulate, letting the spine, like a wave runs through the spine, starting from the tail in both directions. And then reverse it. Start from your head. Feel the upper back open by pressing through the hands. Feel the mid back. You haven't moved your pelvis yet. Feel your lower back, and then finally let the pelvis move. I think this way is a little harder sometimes. Now stay here. Don't move your pelvis. Just sneak your head out. And then let the chest start to move. The pelvis is still tucked under as the lower back moves. And then finally the tail comes up. And one more time like that, starting from the head, trying to articulate through. And then two more times, just whole body. Head and tail move together, regular cat-cow. Open the spine, open the back. And inhale, look forward. And exhale, press through the arms as you open the back. And looking out. And then still looking out, we're going to do a little cat movement back, sitting your butt back on your heels, looking out, walking your hands a little forward, and then letting your head come down. And then unroll your spine. Take your legs out in front of you. Just like we did last week, we're going to do the roll up first before we do the 100, because that's going to set us up for the 100. So let's go one leg at a time. Or you can do two legs the whole time. 2 times rolling back and forth. Nice open back. So the arms are warmed up. We've got the upper back of the shoulder working from the strap work. The spine, we know how to mobilize it. It's a little harder to do in this exercise than in cat-cow. But it is essentially the same motion in the bones. We start from the tail. The tail curls under. And then we feel the lower back. And it ripples through the mid-back, upper back, and head. And then we start from the head to come up through the upper back, through the mid-back, through the lower back. Finally, the pelvis moves. All right, if you're on one leg, switch to the other leg. Tailbone starts. Back of the arm really holds. Unroll the spine. And then rolling up, head, neck, chest. One more of these. Head starts up. Right. Both legs go out. We do the 2-leg roll up. I'm going to do straight legs today. Arms reach forward. I'm already whole body cat position, tail curling under, head reaching forward. And then I do that articulation. Pelvis curls under a little more, like my tail gets pulled towards my heels. And then slowly through the lower back, the mid back, the upper back, the head, arms reach up and overhead. And then rolling up the spine. That is the image here. Like your torso is a fruit roll up or a cinnamon roll. And you're spiraling into yourself. And you keep trying to create that tight roll. Inhale, starting back. Right, now ready for our entrance into the 100, we're going to take our feet a little wider with the knees bent, using the hands this time and really walking your hands down your legs, setting your pelvis up in neutral, and then seeing if you can lightly find the lower ribs and just to about the tip of the shoulder blade, like right where the shoulder blade is. It almost touches the mat, but not quite. It's just hovering off. And then arms come away, legs come up. And if you want, we're going to go into that legs reaching out. You can even tabletop or you can reach them out, pumping the arms. Inhale 5, exhale 5. Breathing into the upper back. Exhale from your belly. 4, halfway through. Now switch hands if you have a hand behind your head. 3 more. Last one. And bring it all in, rest your head. Stretch your left leg out on the floor. Take your right knee, hug it into your chest just a little. We don't often do this, but do a little hug into your chest. And then let the leg float away from you until your thigh is perpendicular to the floor, just straight up and down into the floor, and holding the back of your leg here. And then we'll take an inhale to reach up, and an exhale to bend. And one more time. Now, as you exhale, arms come away, hands come by your side. We go inhale across, exhale around and up. Inhale, full exhale. 3 more. And reverse it. Little open inhale, powerful exhale out. So I'm going just a little faster than I sometimes go. So we find a little more flow, and you have to really work the breath to get the full inhale, exhale. Bend your right knee, take it down, left leg comes in. Give it a little hug in, knee towards your chest, relaxing the front of your hip. And then let it come away from you. You might have to adjust your pelvis a little bit as you take it away so your pelvis feels level on the floor, the two sides even. Thigh bone perpendicular to the floor. The lower leg unfolds, and exhale, bend down. So sometimes I think of the knee kind of like a hinge. My thigh is the door frame, doesn't move. My shin is the door, it moves up and down. And that knee, like the hinge, just opens and closes. Leaving your leg up next time you're there. Hands come by your side, maybe even press them into the floor a little bit with that strap feeling. Inhale over to the right, exhale around and up. Full breath, but a little quicker than like your full, deep, relaxed breath, right? So you work the muscles a little bit to make that inhale and exhale pump. Pumping the breath in and out. And reverse it. Exhale from your belly to lift the leg. Last one. Bend your knee. Now, up to you. Do you want to hold the leg to roll up to sitting? Or do you want to stretch that leg out and do a full roll up? Either way, you're going to articulate the spine. And scoot your butt kind of close to your heels, grabbing onto your shins. Now let's take that cat-cow feeling, curling the hips under, coming back over behind the sits bones. Open the lower back, open the ribs, open the upper back, feel the neck open. All those things, a little more. Use the belly to tiny bit lift your heels off the floor. Your toes are still down. Now, can you keep your spine totally still as you then float the legs off the floor very gently using the belly? All right, let's do a couple rocking chairs. We're going to do 8 total of rocking chair and rolling like a ball. Keeping the back really open as you draw the belly in and do the tiny little tip backwards. And then if you'd like, rolling like a ball. Or keeping the balance, the rocking chair movement. Now my knees, my hinge at my knee is not opening and closing and rolling like a ball. It's staying exactly still. My shins are like a heavy bank vault door, right? They don't just easily fly open as I go back and forth. They stay really in place. I used to have a Pilates studio that was in the old Blue Mounds Bank, and the bank vault was there. We didn't have the door because it was way too much. It was somewhere in someone's basement. I think about that bank vault all the time. We're going to take it into spine stretch, taking your legs forward. So now back to the knee, nice well-oiled hinge opening up here. Long reach of the legs. A little bit more lifted in the spine. Arms float out in front of you. And as you exhale, head starts your spinal articulation, just like we did on hands and knees. One difference in spine stretch is you never tuck the tail. You just leave the pelvis exactly where it is. So that's different than some of the other exercises where we start kind of curling the hips under and back. You start on the sits bones. You slowly peel the spine. You articulate through all the joints, but the pelvis never moves in this one. It just stays right in place so that all the other vertebrae get to move. And rolling. 24 vertebrae. What if you had 24 tiny movements? One more time. And relax. All right. We're going to take a little different version of the saw. We've been doing all these different versions of the saw. So we're going to start with your hands behind your head again, sitting up really tall. I'm going to turn to face this way for the saw. It's kind of nice to do this way. So let's start with the rotation feeling, drawing the belly in, little rotation until I'm looking at my left foot if you're mirroring me, and then back to center. And then little taller, drawing the belly in, drawing the ribs in, little rotation. Again, my pelvis doesn't move, just like spine stretch. Pelvis stays where it is. Mostly I feel like the abdominal muscles pulling the low ribs around. And one more of these. All right, this time you're going to rotate to the left. You're going to take the left hand and put it on the floor just right by your leg. Lots of times people put it way behind them. Put it just right by your thigh and push into that, either fingers or whole hand, to lift a little taller. I'm going to take this right hand, opposite hand, and reach forward, right hand to left foot. As you reach forward, you're going to push into your hand on the floor. And it's going to keep you lifting and rounding the spine a little more so you don't collapse forward. And then coming back up and back to center. So we rotate the other way, looking at the foot. You take the right hand into the floor and just a little push. You feel how that gives you some lift. And then you get that kind of up and over feeling, left hand towards the right foot, like you were going over a big beach ball, space between your chest and your thigh. Coming back up and inhale, exhale. Coming back up and rotate. Inhale, pressing through the hand, lifting through the belly, reaching forward with the left hand. One more each side. Can you keep the knees relaxed? The front of the hips relaxed, the thighs relaxed, belly really working. Last one. All right, we're going to come onto your stomach. Now take your hands and put them right on your hip flexor area. So where your hip hinges, where you fold at the hip when you're sitting. Just take your hands to that area and just kind of think of that area relaxing a little bit into your hands. And think of the lower abdominals coming on. So you're not really changing the shape of your bones. You're just getting a little bit of work in your low belly. And at the same time, trying to relax around your hips there. And then once you think you have a sense of that, we're going to take your hands away and put them under your shoulders. Now, little swan. Let's take small swan today. Head and chest. Hands press a little, but really focused on, can you keep relaxing your thighs and lifting your belly? And then back down. And then taking that again, just to see what's it like to, maybe you always do kind of a small swan, or maybe you do a big swan. What's it like to just keep it small today? Feel the thighs relaxed, feel the belly lifted. There's this moment where you can feel the ribs come on as well, right at the very edge there. One more time. All right, we're going to keep your hands on the floor. We're going to bend both knees so that your shins are now perpendicular to the floor. Thighs are staying in place again. Shins are perpendicular to the floor. Now, find that feeling of releasing the thighs, finding the belly, and you're just going to imagine that your thigh bones reach out through your knees and get a little longer. Now, it's mostly imagined. You don't want to create tension. You're not trying to lift the thigh off the mat. You just want to feel the belly on. You want to think of the fronts of the thighs relaxed. And you want to think of the knees getting a little longer out of your hips, reaching back towards the wall behind you. Nice, long, open front of the thigh feeling. And then keeping that feeling, take the legs back to the floor. All right, pressing up to sitting. So we're going to take that feeling and see if we can apply it to shoulder bridge. Lying on your back, heels in line with your sits bones. Now, shoulder bridge, we've been doing that spinal articulation. So shoulder bridge has that. You start at the tail and peel the spine off. And then we're going to add in this idea as we get to the top of the thighs lengthening out of the hips and the knees. We're going to reach forward towards the same wall. We just flipped upside down. We're still going to reach towards that back wall. So starting from the tailbone, rolling one vertebra at a time. Right about the time you get to your lower back, you can feel the thighs reaching forward, the knees reaching forward. And as they reach forward, it opens your hips and your spine just peels off the mat. And then you're going to keep the thighs lengthening forward as you go back to the mat, one vertebra at a time. Easy, just like drop a vertebra, then drop a vertebra, then drop a vertebra. You don't have to push them down. Just let them release down. All right, two more like that. Tailbone starts, curls the pelvis. You find the belly. As the lower back starts to articulate, you can start to feel how the knees, the thighs can lengthen forward. And that makes space for the mid back. Thighs a little more forward, makes space for the upper back. And front of the hips open up. And then drop one vertebra, drop the next vertebra, drop the next vertebra. One more time. Dropping down. And once you get down to the bottom, stretch your legs out. And then bring yourself over onto one side. We're going to have to go really fast on these side kicks. I know you're probably very disappointed. Maybe they're your favorite. They're not a lot of people's favorite, but we'll just take a couple here. So nice long thighs reaching out of the hip, drawing the belly in, and we're going to go forward and back. Let's do 4. Long thigh as you go back. Inhale and exhale. Now bring them together and rotate. And inhale up, flex, reach down. We're just going to do those 3. Turn it back to parallel, 4 little circles. Using the belly, lengthening the front of the hip, 4 circles in reverse. Legs together 4 times up and down. Just like when your hands were on your hips before. Find that space. All right, and then transitioning to the other side. I'm going to do a fancy transition. Ready? Well, it's sort of fancy, but I got stuck on the mat. You take your transition however you like. All right, are you with me? And 4 times forward and back. Open the hip. And 3 times up and down. Pointing flexing. Hip rotates open. Hip goes to parallel, 4 circles around. 4 circles the other way. And then 4 times both legs lift. And then resting. Okay, ready to pass the mic?
Hey there, hi there. Top of the morning, good morning. So let's just jump right in with the sumo. So if you recall, it's where you step your feet wide apart. And then from the hip socket, it's a little bit of an external rotation, really similar to what you just did in the side kicks. And then with the exhale, bend your ankles, knees, and hips. And then with the inhale, come on up. And since you're already pretty warmed up, let's just do 2 more of these sumos. Next time in the bent position, let's pause there. This was an infomercial right about now. We'd say, but wait, there's more. The more is lift both heels up. So we're going to work on your balance a little bit. And then slowly over a count of 5, descend both heels down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touch your heels. Lift them both again. Again, 5 counts to descend them. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Contact. Inhale up. Turn both feet back to the front. Now one-legged sumo. Turn your left foot in, your right foot out. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. 2 more. Next time that knee in the bent position, let's pause there. Take that heel, lift it a little bit up, couple inches. 5 counts to descend that heel down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touch, lift. This is not only good for balance, it's really good for the arches of your feet. 5 counts to descend that heel down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feel that foot settle into the floor. Push that foot down to lift up, back to the front, and step your feet together. 2 sides of your body feel the same. Simply asking the question is a practice of mindfulness, paying attention in the present moment. Let's take this mindful practice to the other side. Feet apart, right foot in, left foot out. Exhale, inhale. The next time knee in the bent position, let's pause there. As we've done now previously, lift your heel up a few inches. Slowly descend that heel down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touch, lift. Again, descend that heel down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a moment to feel that foot on the floor, the heel, toes, follow the foot. Take all those points of contact, press them down to come up, turn back to the front, and step your feet together. Let's take a moment to work on posture. On your feet, bring a little bit more of the weight toward the front of the foot, balls of the feet and the toes. Then maybe you've already noticed as you bring the weight a little bit forward on your feet, lower belly muscles naturally, spontaneously engage from that tone in your lower belly. Lift your chest, hold your head high, shoulders a little bit up, a little bit back, and just the tiniest bit down. Please don't pull your shoulders way down, just a little bit down. Otherwise, it's an overcorrection. A couple deeper breaths. And then step your feet wide apart. So let's do the two versions of the side angle. Left foot in, right foot out. Exhale, bend. Pause with the in-breath. Exhale, tip. Hand to knee. Sweep that upper arm forward and through. Look inside your armpit up at your ceiling. Inhale up. Back to the front. Second side. Exhale, bend. Pause. Exhale, tip. Pause. Upper arm forward and through. Little rotation in neck and upper back. How's that ceiling doing? Come on up. First side again. This time the second form of side angle. Bend. Pause. Tip. This time to your elbow. Upper arm up. Toward the floor. Turn your nose to look down. Come on up. Back to the front. Second side. Bend. Pause. Tip. Pause. Arm up. Toward the floor. Turn. Come on up. Back to the front. Step your feet together. So now let's work with creating a length in the fronts of the hips. You already did that on your belly. Bring your hands to your hips. Take that left foot, step it back, and take a peek at your feet. Make sure your feet both point straight forward, straight ahead. And with both feet pointing straight ahead, lift your left heel to come forward. Descend your left heel to return back. Forward, back, forward, pause. Remember in standing posture, talked about using the lower belly to create the lift of the spine, chest, and head. So keeping that dynamic tone as you reach your left heel back and down. Both arms forward and upward. And then back to standing. Second side. Right foot back. Take a peek. Check to see that both feet point straight ahead, straight forward. Right heel this time. Inhale, lift, forward. Exhale, descend, back. Next time that back heel lifted, let's pause here. Now, so often what people do is they try and improve their posture from their head or from their shoulders. And what gets caught in the crossfire is the neck. The posture originates from the foundation, like a house is built from the foundation upwards. Lower belly draws in and up to create the foundation. Then from and out of your lower belly, telescope your right heel back and down. Both arms forward and upward. And back to standing. All right, now for a deeper lunge. Hands on your hips to begin. Take your left foot back farther this time. Now we're going to keep that back heel lifted, but still that same sense of both feet point straight ahead, straight forward. Keeping your back knee more or less straight. Exhale, bend your front knee. Inhale, straighten it. Next time that front knee bent, let's pause there. Both arms forward and upward. And back to standing. Second side. Right foot steps back. Both feet pointing straight ahead. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Supporting your posture from the foundation. Let neck, head, and shoulders receive the posture that flows from the foundation. Next time, front knee bent, let's pause there. We'll take just a little whistle stop, arms up, chin up. And back to standing. Then to finish up on our feet, step your feet wide apart. Lift your lower belly, draw it in and up, let that create the lift. And we're going to exaggerate it a little bit, let your chin float up. And notice in your body the distance from your chin to your pubic bone is increased. Keep that length as you fold from your hips. And then when there's no more folding from your hips, go ahead and round your spine. Hands either on your shins or the floor. And then when you inhale, divert the inhale into your back. Inhale into your back ribs. Inhale into your neck. And then keep that length in your spine as you roll up. And step your feet together. So let's do some whole body movements, really good for your balance because it stimulates the vestibular sense in the inner ear. Begin with the inhale. Exhale, arms up. Inhale, fold. Your head will end up upside down. Exhale, crown your head forward. Head ends up in the horizontal. Inhale, fold, upside down again. And then exhale, roll up. So your head goes from upside down to horizontal, to vertical, to looking up, and back to the starting point, head horizontal. So really good for your balance. Exhale, arms up, chin up, gaze up. Inhale, fold, culminating in being upside down. Exhale, head forward, head horizontal. Inhale, fold, head upside down. Exhale, roll up from upside down to horizontal, to neutral, to looking up. Arms down. Now let's do the last one here together quietly. Here we all are back in standing. Let's take a moment to work on our posture. So you don't want to be all the way on the forefoot. Not that you're lifting your heels up. But a lot of times people collapse on their heels and wonder why they slouch. So the human organism, the design of the foot, is such that we're optimally having more of the weight in the forefoot, but just a little bit more. Still the heels are rooted, they're still down. Then maybe you've already felt in your body how that naturally, spontaneously wakes up the tone in the lower belly. Then receive that tone to create a flow upward, supporting your whole spine, chest and head. Then if you recall, we did a little shoulder reset a few moments ago. Let's do that same reset. Couple breaths here. All right. So best you can, a smooth, controlled descent to the floor. Both feet forward. Bring your right foot in. Bring your left arm around to give a hug. Remember, it's turning your chest and turning in your neck and head. So your nose will go beyond where your shoulders go. Keep that nice mobility in your neck. Or maybe regain the mobility that you've lost. Back in toward the front, both feet forward. Now bring your left leg in. Right arm comes around. I get a chance to look out the window. A little bit of snow out there. Our friends in the south. It's snowing up here in the North Country. And same thing. Turn your shoulders and chest. And then to mobilize your neck, turn your head to your capacity. Back in toward the middle. All right. Shoulder bridge. You've already done a shoulder bridge, but it's so good. Do it twice and half and half. And just like you worked on with Colette, remember that spine articulation. I love that image of peel your spine off the floor. And then 3 slower, deeper breaths. And then roll your spine down. I don't know if there's such a thing as unpeeling the spine, but if there were, unpeel your spine back onto the floor. All right. Then from your back onto your belly. And work on the anti-gravity muscles that help support posture. So first step is to open up the rib cage. Hand on top of hand, forehead on your hands. And then inhale into your back ribs. Inhale into your back. And place your hands by your armpits, kind of similar to what you did in the swan. But a little bit different here. Lift your feet, shins, and if you can, lift your knees. And lift your head, chest, and if you can, your upper abdominals. And breathe. Come on down. Both hands forward. Elbows a little bit bent, a little bit lifted up off the floor. Press your hands down to lift your head, to lift your upper chest, to lift your lower ribs, maybe even your upper abdominals. Legs stay on the floor as you breathe. And come on down. Push up the hands and knees. And take a seat. So we're going to do some breathing exercises. So maybe seated on the floor or on a chair, or like I am on a cushion. So when you breathe, breathe into the whole circumference of your rib cage. So when we just did the crocodile just now on your belly, remember your chest was against the floor, so your chest really couldn't expand when you inhale. Part of the purpose of the crocodile is to get those back ribs to open up. So the fruition of doing that crocodile is the freedom, is the ability for your back ribs to broaden and lift with the in-breath. Now that same circumferential breathing, alternate nostril. Bring your left hand up, breathe in and out of your right nostril. Switching sides, breathing out of in and out of your other nostril. Release your hand. No technique that we haven't done for a long while in half and half. We're going to do a forcible exhale coupled with a normal inhale. We're going to do 10 of those. And now breathe normally. All right. So thank you for joining us, half and half. Before we part for the day, any comments? Any questions? Well, have a great weekend, everybody, and let's do this again really soon. Happy Thanksgiving.